So this is a walkthrough of our self-contained off-grid toilet system, which we constructed inside a standard plastic storage tote which we purchased from Home Depot. And so let me walk you through the basic features. We've got our main unit here, and this is the toilet bowl area. There is normally a toilet seat or a squatting platform that will sit on top of that. It is powered by two of these hand pump water pressure tanks, and they have various sprayer attachments for flushing, for personal hygiene, and also one for powering the hand sink, which you can see is attached over there. And so the unit, the core of the unit has this waste processing chamber which runs through the entire length of the unit and out into this discharge chamber, which actually sits outside the residence and below ground level. And that's why you see this unit is sitting on this elevated white platform at the moment, because typically the unit would be inside the household at ground level, but with the sloping, the processing chamber needs to be below ground level. So inside of the unit, I'll show you what that looks like. There is the toilet bowl, and the urine gets collected separately in the white bowl, and it drains out through that small hole in the rear, and then you can see it goes out through that small pipe there and into its own storage container. The solids get deposited inside this blue shaped bowl and onto the top of this piston plunger that sits inside the waste processing pipe. And so I'll give you a quick look of what that looks like. So this is the piston plunger unit, which I've just pulled out over here, and it goes back in there. It's actually extendable, and so the piston plunger sits inside there, and you can see what it does is it actually seals up the solids processing. It seals up the waste processing pipe, and it prevents any odors from coming back up through the unit. So the way it works is when the unit's in use, the plunger is in the closed position like you see it now. Once the user's complete, the first thing they would do would be the personal hygiene, which we have a specially designed wand over there, which you can see how that works, and the user can do that so that there's no need for toilet paper. Once the user's done that, the next step is to stand up and retract the piston plunger so that the solid waste falls into the discharge pipe. There's a tight seal with an O-ring on that so that everything scrapes off of the piston plunger. And then the next step is to use the pressurized flush sprayer to hose down the solids that are stuck to the blue bowl. And once everything's inside the waste processing chamber, then the piston gets pushed through all the way to the back, and all the waste gets the solid waste and the brown water gets pushed into the discharge chamber at the rear. Then the last step is the user has the ability to wash their hands, and so we have that connected to this faucet here. You can turn it on to soap up, turn it off. When you're ready to wash down, turn it back on. Because of the pressure and the fine spray, you need very little water, and so we're talking about 8 ounces of water for all the functions that I've just showed you, including hand washing, personal hygiene, and flushing. And so it's a very simple operation. It's clean. It basically has all the features of a Western style toilet in terms of cleanliness, and I'll show you how the waste gets processed in the rear. So the waste processing chamber is a series of filters. At the top is the solids collection filter, which is basically a colander with holes in it. So the solids would sit in there, and the excess brown water would drip through into a sand, clay, and charcoal filter, and then out through that discharge outlet there and into some type of French drain in the ground. The unit's actually very easy to operate. The pumping, you just need to pump the water tanks up a few times. When you first fill it up with water, they need to be pumped about 20 to 30 times to get the initial pressure up, which gets up to about 35 psi. But once the pressure's up there, it only needs about 5 or 6 pumps between each use. So that's the overview of this unit. It's very simple. It cost us about $100 at retail price using off-the-shelf components from Home Depot. So it is going to be an affordable unit for people in third world countries where it's designed for.